This is the loofah trellis. Unfortunately, the winter squash has also decided it wanted to intermingle, and so I have both loofah and winter squash growing on this same trellis. This is a lovely loofah, and I'm letting them go ahead and dry on the vines. I have several still coming on even. And so, oh, hello, Mr. Bee. I have a beautiful honeybee. I wish you could see him. He is actually on the other side. Maybe he'll crawl over onto the lens side of my camera here, my phone. But as you can see, we have another one. However, I don't think he's doing very well. So maybe he'll have to go. I don't need anybody causing further disease on any other loofah. So I will show you back here. Yes, there is a winter squash right there growing on the same trellis as my loofah. I have a beautiful loofah somewhere in here that I'm hoping is going to be ready to, oh, there he is. I'm hoping that this guy will be able to be harvested here soon. So anyway, this kind of turned into a weed patch as well, but I'm gonna get it all cleaned out. So this first trellis was all supposed to be winter squash. However, it has spilled out over into, obviously, the loofah. Check out that bad boy. And I have several others coming on. So now I'm just waiting for them to color up and I can harvest. There's also crookneck squash back here, and I'm getting ready to harvest that as well. There she is. Oh, there's a woolly caterpillar. That is actually supposed to be acorns, or not acorn squash, summer squash, and it just decided to start coming on. Okay, I have been harvesting cucumbers for weeks now. I have a pile right here that I need to take in. However, if you look, I still have a whole bunch more. Still growing, still producing. Some of these are monsters. So it is absolutely time to get these all picked, and I've actually had very good luck with pickling these slicing cucumbers even, surprisingly. They still pickle well. But they just keep coming and coming and coming. It's crazy. This is the Mojito Mint. I have cut this back, and as we all know, mint is actually very sprawling. It does a lot of stuff. I mean, it takes over a lot. So it is time to harvest that again. And I did have I'm having some of my peppermint finally popping through, but you know, we're kind of too little too late. So that smells fantastic. I love peppermint. Now I apologize for all of the wind. Yesterday was very cold and rainy. Today is very windy, bright and sunny, and humid. I'm not real sure if or when fall will ever arrive and stay here. But this here is the strawberry patch, or I'm sorry, the raspberry patch. And it has just gone absolutely crazy wild. The problem with it is that it didn't produce more than a handful of raspberries this year. So I'm going to take the advice of a friend of mine who actually gave me this particular black raspberry bush. And I'm going to, she also gave me this one. This one did well, but this one, just for whatever reason, I don't know. So I'm still not going to cut that back until the spring. However, what I'm going to do is get in here with my gloves on, and I'm going to take each plant and I'm going to braid the canes. I'm sorry, my goodness, I'm losing my mind. Anyway, I'm going to braid the canes on each plant, and then I'm going to coil them up, and I'm going to hang them off of the posts. And then this next spring, I will cut them down. I will cut them back, and hopefully we can get them to actually produce better berries this year, and many of them. Okay, the rhubarb did actually very well. It got very large, and I let it go to seed again. And as you can see, I have some more new growth already. So I will be cutting this here soon, and I'm just going to cut it all the way down and harvest as much as I can. And then next year I should have a very good crop. Oh my goodness, well hello Mr. Wooly. That's the second one in the garden today. Okay, that little section, this section through here, is about all that remains for the potatoes. I have dug everything else up, and I have not had a chance to get out to get the rest of them. So that's going to have to happen here soon too, but it is entirely too wet, as you can see. I cannot possibly dig that up. This was my radish, carrots, beets, and I could not get those things to produce for anything this year, so I let it go to weeds. Obviously I had pulled everything, but now I've got weeds that have grown back. So the plan is to actually, as soon as it starts to dry up some more, is to pull all of this out. And you see where I've already started. This is all going to be woven fence. This is a woven fence that I actually had I started it just to see if I could do it. So this will be part of this, actually all of it will be disassembled, and I will be starting to collect all of these different size sticks and branches and whatnot. When we start cutting down all of this, will be cleared out. This entire fence line, actually all of the entirety of the property fence line, that will all be cleared out. All of these silver maples that you see right here are coming out because I have big plans, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, broccoli, cabbage, kohlrabi, Brussels sprouts. Did nothing. So I let them go too. It was not a good gardening year for me. And now, what I did get fantastic results from was down in this weed patch. It's all weeds now, but because I've harvested it all. This was all lettuce, different lettuces and spinach, etc. So those did amazing. I had so much that I felt like it was coming out my ears. But I decided I wasn't going to plant a fall garden because this was just way too much this year that didn't produce, and I didn't want to waste any more seed. So I will be trying a whole new approach for next year. The peas were there. I had Alaska snow peas, and I had another type of pea, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it was. They did not produce either. Again, like I said, I had a terrible gardening year. So I had pulled all of those, and those are weeds and stuff that I'd pulled along the way as well. So yeah, I'm pretty disappointed in all of that. I finally have tomatoes coming on, and they are getting humongous. These are beefsteak. I picked a few yesterday. That one's not quite ripe. But as you can see, I have plenty more coming on. They just need to ripen up. Some of them blushed, and that's great. And I'm hoping that they'll continue to do so, but our weather has just been so bonkers this year. All right, these right here are San Marzanos, and as you can see, I tried to trellis these tomatoes, but they are entirely too heavy for twine, and honestly, they didn't do well on the wire that I put up either. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do this next year, but it will be absolutely different. These are the black cherry tomatoes. This guy's split, darn it. I was just out here and picked some of these yesterday, and yeah, he wasn't split yesterday. Darn it, but he's soft and he's split, so that's a bummer. More San Marzano paste tomatoes. And they're just kind of scattered about. They've just kind of gone wild and done what they wanted. I picked quite a few of these. And these are my little cherry tomatoes. They are the super sweet 100s. I do have some that are, even though I picked yesterday, I couldn't obviously pick all of them because they weren't all completely ready to go. So, but we have a pretty big crop of that going on. So I'm excited to be able to harvest all of this, and I'm hoping that everything will ripen up the way it should. Okay, these were the Hungarian Wax Peppers. I picked a bunch of them yesterday. These two plants alone, well, I guess these 3 plants, and as you can see, I have more coming on. And these are not ready to pick as of yet, but I've had so many Hungarian hot wax peppers. It's been crazy. And this one, I'm not real sure what it was, but it looks to me like that is either a poblano or maybe a ghost pepper. It was one that was given to me, so he said, here, just grow it. I said, okay. This was another one, and I don't know which one this one was either. The thing was is they weren't labeled. But the peppers are just now finally coming on. And the reason I say that the other ones were ghost peppers is because these are ghost peppers and they look very similar. And these are just now starting to come on. So I should have, if everything goes well, I should have a big crop of ghost peppers. Now, that right there is a volunteer pumpkin from last year. I did not plant that. So I have to get in there and uncover to see if there are actually any fruit on it. So that'll be an adventure. I wanted to show you all that my zinnias are finally starting to pop up, and I have some absolutely gorgeous zinnias. So these lovely ladies are starting to die off, go to seed. Some hollyhock finally decided to show up. And my flowering pear tree is actually doing fantastic. So that will be getting transplanted next fall, or next spring, I'm sorry. This is some sort of, I believe she called it sedum, but I don't think that it's sedum. That a friend had dug up for me and gave me from her yard. The same beautiful woman that gave me the black raspberry canes and root. So I'm anxious to see if they grow thicker next year. Okay, so part of the grant update, right there, and you can see Trisha and Garth sitting out there. That is the new septic and the 3 lateral lines that had gone out. Obviously the top of the intake where the filters and stuff are, and it comes all the way up. They dug up, this was just a mess this year, but it had to be done. I'm very thankful it got done. And we were very blessed to have received such a gift. However, my poor roses did not appreciate it. Now, those 3 that are on the end, actually, there's a yellow one and 2 pink ones. One of them is a bright pink and one of them is just a little bit lighter pink. And they did okay, but I had to dig one up from here, and I will show you. I put it in the pot, but I'm not so sure that's gonna go very well. I'm hoping that then in the spring I can get that transplanted again and that it'll grow, because it is an absolutely gorgeous yellow rose, and that was my Grammy and Pop Pop's favorite color of rose. They both loved roses very much. So when I see roses, I think of them very fondly. I think this guy is actually a purple colored rose. It's gorgeous, but as you can see, it didn't do well this year. This is one of the pink, and you can kind of see in there the color it'll be. And they keep blooming, so I guess that's a good sign. And this is a yellow guy. Here on the west side of the house, where there really is no sun, simply because we have pine trees, I was able to plant some cinnamon fern root. So this is the only one out of the 3 roots, I'm sorry, that I had planted that made it. Okay, so this is one of my original herb beds. Yes, you heard that right. The headboard and footboard of an actual bed. Obviously, landscaping block. And for whatever reason, my phone is filming crazy. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so I need to get the cilantro cut. I have a lot of new growth, but I also have parsley. I think it got mixed in there because my cats like to get in this thing and dig. Drives me crazy. Beautiful chamomile. I just planted this a couple months ago, and it was almost dead when I got it, and it's just greened up and it's beautiful. Let's see, this is just regular thyme. So, smells so beautiful when you when you can run your fingers through it. Okay, I do have some Genovese basil that was planted in here. However, I don't think it made it. Now, oh my goodness, I think this one actually is the blue spice basil right here. And it has kind of taken over everything. So it is absolutely time to harvest these little guys right here. I'll be harvesting the seeds as they come on and find a new place for them. But I do have, there's blue basil, cinnamon basil, let's see here. It's blue spice basil is what it is. Oh, lemon basil. Yeah, that's this one right here, actually. Smells beautiful. I had some lime basil planted, but I don't know that it made it. So, I do have some rosemary in here. And of course sage, which I use for, not only do I use it in culinary practices, but I also use them, I dry it out and use it for smudge sticks. So some more cilantro. So this will actually be, this is a project to do today with harvesting. Okay, look at my girls. Crazy, crazy. Now, I'm actually going to get in here and I'm going to show you the new girls. They have grown so much in a month's time. Excuse me, ladies. Yes, excuse me, my gorgeous girls. There's Miss Abby, the California White. Well, hello, Miss Penny, my Rhode Island Red. Yes. Oh, aren't you pretty? Yes, you are. Pepper. Pepper. She's too busy eating. Look at my girls. Oh. Okay, now this is Miss Molly. As you can see, the top half of her beak is gone, but she seems to be doing okay. She seems to be okay with, come here. What happened was I had them in a brooder in the house that I had made out of a tote. Unfortunately, my red female husky has been locked on them and somehow got in, and I came home to her beak being partially missing. So I'm not real sure what kind all of these girls are, especially now these two grayer ones are either or. They're either or prairie bluebell eggers or lavender orpingtons. And it could be one of each. I don't really know. Now, this is Miss Luna. And what I've done is I've named these two Lunette and Molly, but I call her Luna. You know, the big comfy couch. For those of you who have children who watched the big comfy couch back in the day. The two gray ones are actually, let's see, this one, she doesn't have all of the black on her beak, and she has a bigger comb right now. That is actually Lucy, and there's Miss Ethel. Hello, Ethel. Yes, these are my beautiful little new troublemakers. So, these girls yesterday were moved outside permanently, and they got the bigger girls' old coop because the bigger girls were picking on them. So the little girls got the bigger coop with the enclosed run. Now, in true homesteading fashion, this was the original coop that I had received, and I didn't receive all of the parts to. So, because we wanted the bigger girls, obviously, to have their own coop still, they were given this. We made our own ramp. We had just a piece of wood, and this was actually the part of the old ridge cap for that piece right there. The roof we fashioned out of my old breezeway closet doors and just used part of that ridge cap. Obviously, we had a piece of plywood And the hinges and the handle came off of the doors. It had everything else, so, oh, they laid me another egg in there. Goodness, I've already collected 3. So, they got fresh new hay. All of the girls did. And they seem to be liking it.